So it got to me lately that when I opened my YouTube, it's recommend me some weird videos. Not like your weird video, because once in a while we still got weird recommendation, right? So what caught my attention was that many YouTubers seems to be making videos about Pokemon Radical Red, and I just wanted to jump into the bandwagon and figured out how this game became so popular. After reading like the reviews of the game, I actually really like it and decided to give it a try. Of course, we're not gonna do it the casual way. We're gonna do it with monotype challenge, which was, I know it's still normal, but it's a good way to start and experience the ROM hack. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Starting off the game with a few words from the creator named Supercell and Koala. We name ourselves Frozen because that's my channel's name, and our rival is named Dry because we are using water type. The part where I pick my starter, my recorder actually crashed, so I didn't have the footage for it. Sorry. Just to let you know that I chose Squirtle obviously because we are doing a mono water type run. There's no other choice, right? Also, water type is good against the first gym, so that's why I chose water type first. Anyway, we then made it through Viridian Forest without any problems. Also caught ourselves a Wingull right before Pewter City. Now I have 2 Pokemons on my team. Going into the museum, I saw Faulkner there and he just jumped straight into battling me. My Squirtle and Wingull had higher level than his Pokemons, but he still managed to defeat me a couple times, so I went to train for a little bit and took him out the 3rd try. We can now go into the gym to get our first batch, and this guy is just reminding me of all the clauses for the battles of this game, which is fair. Thank you, old man. We can now battle Brock. Starting off the battle against Brock, we managed to water gun his Alolan Geodude with our Wingull before it went down to 1 hit by a single spark, because we are 4 times super effective. Like, there's no way. Allowing Squirtle to finish with a water gun later. From then, we had a pretty good matchup against the rest of these Pokemons, which were Vulpix and then Onyx. His Vulpix burned me before I took it out with 2 water guns. Next up was Onyx, who we also were able to take down with 2 water guns with the help from Oranberry to stay alive from his Bulldoze. And just like that, we got ourselves our first gym badge. On the way to Mount Moon, my Squirtle evolved into Wartortle, which was nice. Then I saw a den, or would you call it well, that allows you to do a Dynamax battle versus a Pokemon that you can catch. What a cool feature for a GBA ROM hack. Since it was a Doglet, I caught it as well, just in case I'm gonna use it sometime. In the Pokemon Center right before Mount Moon, I also bought myself a Magikarp from this guy. Maybe it's a scam, you decide. Finally, inside Mount Moon, we also had a Choodle to throw balls on. Wow, there are plenty of water types around here, including the Helix fossil I took later, because the scientist told me to choose one, so I like Helix more. On the way out of the cave, I got blocked by an unexpected fight against Rocket Admin Archer. I didn't see it coming, so I got wrecked the first time and many times later. As well, more training it was. I gotta evolve my Magikarp and train my team. When I felt like it was enough, I went to battle him for the one last time. He led with Impidimp while I led with Wartortle. Managed to knock Impidimp out with 1 Rock Tomb and 1 Rapid Spin. That was a crit and pretty lucky, I suppose. Next one was Maguiana, who's in this game buffed with the ability Strong Jaw, and it started to set up some howls. Wartortle threw a couple of Rock Tombs to lower his speed before going down. Then I sent out Gyarados for the Intimidate to soften the damage a little bit, meanwhile trying to tackle it down. My Hyena was able to bite me once, but I survived and knocked it out with a few tackles. Lastly was Houndour, which I also finished with 3 tackles. We got out of Mount Moon eventually. It's a bit floppy, but you know. My Wingull now evolved into Pelipper, and Shuro became Dreadnought. It's time for the second gym. I didn't prepare much for it at first try, so I got dominated by Frogadier with its great coverage alongside Protein ability, which made all stab moves. Or moves stab, if you understand. On the second attempt though, things went smoother because I now know what move it's gonna use. Like I didn't know what it used like first time. Alright, so it had Rock Tomb, Ice Punch, and Grass Knot. That's all I can see. So I can manage to like play around it a little bit. So on the second attempt, leading off with Pelipper, I knew she was gonna use Rock Tomb with her frog, so I went for Water Pulse this time. Managed to knock it out in one hit because Frogadier was a rock type at that time. She sent out Floatzel next to fake my Pelican out to death. I then sent out Dreadnought to get a few hits off. So she flipped turn though into Stormy, which was pretty happy she did that because I got 2 Rock Tombs on it and making it slower than my Gyarados who had Bite. After Dreadnought was down, of course Gyarados went in even though she had recovered, but I had a 30% chance to flinch and I just need to spam it and get one. Didn't take that long for my wish to be granted. Stormy went down, only Fossil left. I leered it one with my Gyarados and then bit it till Gyarados ran out of health. Wartortle can now finish the job with 2 Rock Tombs. The second gym badge is now ours without too much problem, by far, yet. Time to find Bill for my ticket. Our arrival and a grand fight on the Golden Bridge were pieces of cake, nothing worth mentioning. Before coming to Bill's house, we also caught ourselves 2 more Pokemons, which were Meryl and Poliwag, whose could become useful later. After getting ticket, I came to Route 6 to use my O-Rod on the water, caught a Shelter, and then a Golden in Vermilion City, whose I was totally unaware of it having Fisher Strand. Should have done more researches. We then ran into Brandon right in front of Diglett's cave. It wasn't that hard of a fight though, and pretty straightforward. However, after winning, he gave us a lucky egg, which is fine, I think. Help you with more leveling, but also in this game you can't over level anyway, so I don't know if that helped much. Then I caught a Wooper in Diglett's cave and evolved it into Quagsire while training on the ship, and also got Cut and Flash HM. Third gym is now available. I came pretty close at the first try, so I just needed to tweak it a little bit for the second try because it was pretty close the first try anyway. Against Lieutenant Surge, I led off with Quagsire to set up 3 Amnesia while waiting for the electric terrain provided by Pincurchin to run out. That was only like 5 turns or 4 turns something. After that, 3 Bulldozers were enough to take Pincurchin out. Surge then sent out his Alolan Raichu to nasty plot once and then hit me with a Side Shock. It hurt, but my Quagsire hung on and Twitch KO it with Bulldoze. Next up was Vikavolt, who couldn't take Quack down with a Bug Bust due to my 3 Amnesia earlier. I clicked rest, and with Chesterberry, my dog was now healthy again. After using 2 Rock Tombs though, I don't want it to take more damage, so I went to Shelter on the roost and managed to lower Vikavolt's defense with Laser Shell, which helped Gyarados later finish it off with a single Aqua Tail. His last Pokemon was actually a Mega Manectric, our first battle against the Mega. It killed Gyarados by 1 Volt Switch and 2 taps my weakened Quagsire with Hyper Voices, not without taking a Bulldoze from Quagsire though. I knew my Azumarill can take 1 hit, so I went to it after and landed a huge power Play Rough on Manectric, securing our 3rd gym badge. We then moved on to Celadon City to buy a Water Stone. Now I had myself closer. Also caught a Lumbre, which I didn't remember where at all. Strange time for the recorder to crash. And an egg we turned into Dewpider, later into Aragonite after evolving. Then I went way back to the move relearner in Cerulean City to teach my Cloyster Shell Smash. Finally, here's our first troublesome roadblock. We were using water types. Erika, the gym leader, has grass types with grassy terrain on her side. At first try, I got obliterated by Rillaboom's Sword Stand and Grassy Glide combination. It didn't help that after the terrain was gone, I managed to kill her Rillaboom, and then Meganium came out with a buffed ability Triage, which allows your healing moves such as Giga Drain to have +3 priority, easily knocked out my almost dead Cloyster. This is where I had to fall back and think. After numbers and numbers of pointless tries, evolved my Lombre to Ludicolo. I taught it Thief so it could use the Dex Nav to get some bottle caps from Sandygast. We then used the caps to change our Pokemon's ability to hidden ability. In this case, I chose Drizzle on Pelipper and Sap Slipper on Azumarill, whose I thought was gonna help against Erika, but not really, still lost. Since it was on the break, might as well take down Chuck as well in his dojo in Saffron City. Also got a Crab Brawler and a Focus Sash after that. With Focus Sash, I had an idea. I know there were plenty of ways I could get around that fight against Erika at that time without having to rely on RNG, but the RNG way ain't bad considering all the odds you have to face. Taking on Erika again, my plan was to freeze her Rillaboom with Gyarados Ice Fang, since I can throw off 2 fangs before she started attacking. I managed to get what I wanted after 3 more tries. With Rillaboom frozen, I took advantage of that and Shell Smashed twice in front of its face with Cloyster. Then, just in case, it's unthaw, unfreeze, whatever you wanna call it, and I just use a single Ice Shot to knock it out because I'm now +3 in attack with 2 Shell Smash. Erika then sent out Superior, who's also went down to Icicle Spears, and the Meganium with Triage came out, but this time I still had my Focus Sash intact, survived a Giga Drain and 3 spears to put the dinosaur out of commissions. Lastly was Mega Venusaur, whose we also one-shot with Icicle Spear or 4 shots, up to your point of view. 4th gym badge was claimed with a lot of time consumed. Going into the game corner later, as we all knew already, we defeated this team Rocket Runt and found a secret base. Inside, Giovanni was waiting. Of course, I led off with Gyarados, he led off with Nidoking, which had Thunderbolt. I had to switch out to my Quagsire to get some amnesia going on, but then he predicted my Earthquake somehow, like a god, on a sensitive turn and brought his Honchkrow out, who killed my Quagsire with just a Night Slash. Then I took that opportunity to go to Cloyster and set up a Shell Smash. He hit me with a Heat Wave, but that wasn't even close to knocking me out. After that, I just needed to click the right moves to sweep his whole team as a fake out from his Mega Kangaskhan. Couldn't take my Cloyster out, there's no way. After that, we got the Sylph Scope, then I used it to do some house call business in Lavender Town. And Mr. Fuji thanks us by giving a Poke Flute. On the way to wake Snorlax up by the flute, I caught a Carvanha in a den and evolved it into the Sharpedo, who I really liked at that time. I mean, I like Sharpedo, but it's a mono water run, so why the hell not should we get like a Sharpedo ourselves? I mean, we then also caught a Snorlax, which I named Leftovers because that's all the reason I caught it. I just want the leftover from his really just the item, and then I put it in the box. I then came back to Sylph Scope to see Giovanni again, but on the way there got blocked by my rival. Hooray! He took me down the first try. What's wrong with this guy? I'm just trying to do my things here. On the second try though, I taught him a lesson. Leading off with my Gyarados, I Dragon Danced with it. He used Staraptor to damage me a bit, just a bit, Then U-turn out to Azumarill. I tried to weaken the Azu by 2 Aqua Fangs from Gyarados before going down.
This was the opportunity. I sent out Araquanid to lower the Azumaru's attack by clicking launch 2 times. Great setup scenario as I can now go to my cloister to shell smash comfortably. The rest was just a sweep. Really, just click Ice Shard on the Staraptor in case it had like something like quick attack and it can crit me, and the rest just Icicle Spear and Razor Shell. Nothing to worry about. Another sucker punch came from Rocket admins Archer and Ariana. It was okay though, because Brandon basically carried me hard, really hard that game. It's a double format, so can't thank him enough. Finally, our second fight against Giovanni in a short period of time. I thought I for sure had a win with Cloister just like last time, but this time the conditions were different. First time I got swept by a cup of tea, totally normal. Then I used Cloister at the second time, but he had Sandrush Excadrill to deal initial damage and then fake out from Mega Kangaskhan. Now was able to take me out. Yeah, so I gotta think about it. Third time's the charm. I taught my Cloister Protect and got rid of Razor Shell. So Protect will help me against the fake out. Starting up again with same old Cloister, Shell Smash once and then kill the Hippo. Next up was Excadrill, who for some reason used Rock Slide this time and missed. Not sure why last time he went for Iron Hand, but I would take that and returned a favor with Icicle Spear to knock it out. The teacup wasn't the problem, I also went down to Icicle Spear. Last was Mega Kangaskhan with Protect on the faked out, and then finished Giovanni with another one of those spears. I now had a Master Ball, which this guy gave me. Thank you. Going into Sabrina's gym for the 5th batch, I was a bit worried because I'm not that good in double battles. Then it turned out to be okay. Of course, I still lost to her the first time, but on the second attempt, things weren't so tough. I led off with Pelipper and Araquanid while she went with Indeedee and Hatterene for the trick room. My Pelipper got a Hydro Pump off Indeedee before going down to Expanding Force. Meanwhile, Araquanid one-shot Hatterene with a Liquidation in the rain. I then sent out Quagsire as she sent out Conkeldurr. Araquanid again continued to impress me by leaving another Expanding Force and throwing up a crucial Liquidation on Conkeldurr. Quagsire though, it died. It couldn't handle it. It's time for Cloister and Sharpedo now. I clicked Protect on both of them just to scout for the move Sabrina would go for. And after that, Crunch from the Shark to knock out Indeedee and Icicle Spears from Cloister to finish off the weakened Conkeldurr. The rain was still there and I took advantage of it by using Flip Turn on the Marowak into my Gyarados. Then another spear was enough to take the Marowak down. It was a Alolan Marowak, that's right. Her Porygon 2, however, was able to set up a Trick Room, but that turned out to be a good turn for me as her last Pokemon was a fast Pokemon, the Gardevoir. So in Trick Room it actually had to move later. I decided to gang up on the Gardevoir and kill it with Spears plus Aquafan. Only Porygon 2 left and I still had my Shark in the bag. After doing some, Protect Shell Smash shenanigan, I was able to take down Porygon 2 as it couldn't handle that many Pokemons on its own. I just Shell Smash on one turn from Cloister because I had a Focus Sash in Tash. So I could Shell Smash and Icicle Spear, and then Sharpedo can just crunch. Even though I got paralyzed by Thunderbolt, it didn't matter because I can still get an attack off. So yeah, it's nothing to worry about. The 5th gym badge is now ours. There wasn't many things happened between the 5th and 6th gym, so I'm just gonna go straight into the Koga battle. He led off with a Swallow who had the ability Air Relay in this game, which made it normal type becomes flying type moves, and extra 20% boost in power, and it swept my whole team the first time, no joke. The second attempt I figured how to do it. I led out with my Blastoise, whose I brought back on the team now. Surviving one Boom Burst, it Flip Turn out into Cloister. With the damage from Flip Turn, one Ice Shard netted a kill on Swallow. So next problem was actually Greninja. My Araquanid can tank 2 Dark Pulse from it and KO back with a Leech Life in theory. But then he flinched me with his Dark Pulse and I had to start over again. This frog is crazy. So third try then, I just repeated the process. Of course this time he couldn't flinch me anymore. So we was able to knock out the Greninja with a single Leech Life. Of course after we repeating that stuff with the Ice Shard and Flip Turn stuff, then I switched into Araquanid, tank 2 Dark Pulse even though it's Life Orb, and kill him with Leech Life. Koga then sent out Dragapult next, who took quick work of my Araquanid by Dragon Darts. I found this as an opportunity again to set up with my Gyarados. With the help of Intimidate and Citrus Berry, I was able to set up 2 Dragon Dances before crunching the Dragapult down. Axelgor was next, who also went down to an Aquafang. Drapion actually saved Koga though, as it tanked an Aquafang like a champ, and it actually got buffed this game. It had Wicked Blow, and you know its ability is called Sniper, so it's like auto +2, right? +2 damage, something like that. Nice upgrade. But of course with the legacy laid by Gyarados, Cloyster can now just clean up with a Shell Smash. Anyway, 2 clicks on Icicle Spear. Wait a minute, was that a Mega Toxtricity? Where that came from? I didn't notice that until, wow. Anyway, 6 Gym Bash, probably still easy. Now I can go to Route 16 to get Fly the HM. Then flew back to Pallet Town to go fishing, actually looking for some hard scales to teach some egg moves. And this was when I realized my Azumaru can't do things with Sap Slipper because Whirlpool doesn't exist. So yeah, pretty sad. Next was the battle against Brandon. Wasn't having any problem at all. My team can handle him pretty well now. He's just an obstacle blocking my way to Safari, where you can find HM Surf there and a Golden Teeth to get another HM called Strength. It was important for Seafoam Island. Then I went back to Route 16 planning to get Blastoise Mega Stone, but I found out that I could also get Swampert Mega Stone here. So I really wanted that. Those with a quick research, I knew how to get a Mudkip now. It is by making a child sad by beating him. Forgive me, I had to do it for the Swampert. Seafoam Island was our next location. There was a Dracovish in the den, and of course I caught it. Was that Keldeo? Guys, I gotta catch it. There's no other way. When you see a Keldeo, you gotta catch it. It's water type, right? I mean, even if I run fire type, I'm still gonna catch it. I'm not gonna leave it behind. So yeah, we got ourselves a Keldeo and lost a Master Ball. I don't think I'm gonna use the Master Ball anyway. And then the Keldeo became the only Pokemon that I've ever EV trained in this game. No one could stop me. After warming up with May, we headed into the battle against Blaine. He had a Sun team with Torkoal lead. I led off with Cloyster, now holding King's Rock, hoping to flinch Torkoal with Rock Blast because it was 5 hits. But that didn't happen though, as Torkoal killed my Oyster with a Lava Plume. No more Mono Cloyster run, I suppose. Then I went to Keldeo to scald him, but then he switched it into Chlorophyll Venusaur. Had to change the weather to slow the Sun Abuser down by going into Pelipper, which allowed his Venusaur to deal over half the HP bar to my Rain Setter. Now somebody gotta sacrifice for a bit of damage on the Venusaur so I can knock it down with Earthquake, and that somebody was Ludicolo. Thanks for the help, buddy. As expected, I got a good chunk of damage by Ice Beam, then finished the Venusaur with Mega Swampert Earthquake. Then he for some reason sacked his Typhlosion to throw off an Eruption for no reason, and Volcarona. Yeah, he's also sacked Volcarona before going into his Mega Charizard Y to kill my Swampert with Solar Beam. That was pretty odd because it was my first battle too. I'm not sure why he did that. Time to set up the rain again. This time Pelipper had to go down though, because Keldeo was my choice next, and clicked one Calm Mind to tank the Air Slash. then 1 Scald to finish the Charizard. With the rain is pouring down, he couldn't click Solar Beam, so he had Ice Slash still. But yeah, we managed to knock it out with a Scald. His last Pokemon was Cinderace, who knocked my Unicorn out with a single high jump kick. After I killed the Torkoal, of course, he had to get the Sun up again. Luckily, I still had Gyarados with Intimidate left. After 1 Dragon Dance, we managed to beat Blaine with an Aqua Fang. First try too, even though it was a bit sloppy and lucky. I'll take that any day. It was still pretty odd to me how that battle happened. But yeah, we're gonna take the win. And the 7th Gym Bash, of course. We headed back to Viridian City later for our last gym batch, but Brandon just had to stop us there and brought us to our demise. I'm joking, it's just Cerulean Cape. We gotta help him there. After losing a couple times to Archer and Ariana, because they just like came up nowhere while I'm on the stairs, on the ladder rather, and just straight into battling me. I was able to get through them the 3rd time though, even though I think it was a fairly hard battle. Well, not a battle, it's technically 2 battles in a row, because you had to beat 2 people. So let's say you beat Archer, right? And then you had to go battle Ariana straight without healing your Pokemon. So basically you're dealing with like 2 teams at the same time, but it's not like 1v12 though, because I think they just had like 4 Pokemon or something. It was pretty hard. If your team is not trained enough, it could be a very nice roadblock, but you can train in Cerulean Cave anyway pretty easily, so I didn't have much of an issue at all. Just need 3 times tries, you know, because my team is like, pretty prepared now for whatever happens, right? So just like that, we beat Asher and Ariana. It wasn't like a mile difference. It's just fair. And after that, Giovanni was trying to catch the Mewtwo, and we had to stop him. But by we, I actually meant we are gonna stop him. Didn't expect that to be a double battle at all. At first try, I took an L out of my own surprise because I wasn't prepared. I thought we can use like 6 Pokemons, but no. Lance came to help. Second time wasn't as hard. Usually your teammate in these double battles just carries you. Lance was no exception there. I helped him a bit by dealing some initial damage, so he can finish the rest with his OP legendaries and a Mega Salamence. How do you get that, by the way? So yeah, it was easy, you know, just a bit of carry, that's all. So with Team Rocket out of the way, finally, it's time for our last gym, which is now owned by Claire. I'm just missing here. Did I miss something? Anyway, we showed no mercy. Starting off with our Pelipper, we were pretty lucky to dodge a Stone Edge from her Aerodactyl. U-turned successfully into Mega Swampert and liquidated the arrow for the kill. Claire then sent out Dragonite next, so I went to Gyarados for the Intimidate and also Dragon Dance once, as she also clicked Dragon Dance. Dragonite wasn't able to put us down though with 2 dual wing beats, but we could actually took her Dragonite out with a 4 times super effective Ice Fang. Maguiana was her next choice, who knocked my Gyarados out with an Aura Sphere, also taking a huge hit from Aqua Fang. That damage was so helpful that my Swampert can just now come out later and avenge Gyarados with Liquidation. Dracovish was up next, but it was slower than me in the rain, so I got an Earthquake off. After that, I went back to Pelipper to set up the rain because the rain was over. Then back to Mega Swampert again for one more Earthquake. The last two Pokemons managed, no, not managed, is Naganadel and Mega Duraludon. Both died to Earthquake as well. Mega Swampert performed pretty well this one. The last batch is now in our hands. Wait, how is that a Mega Duraludon? I'm really confused about this game, by the way. After that, I debated if I should go EV train my whole team before the Elite Four, but I wanted to try an EV train first to see if it's really too hard without it. And off we went to the Indigo Plateau. After battling some few people on the way to the Elite Four, we finally reached here. Our first member will be Lorelei. She led off with a Politoed and Ludicolo, which is a rain team. So weird, because we're also using rain. I had to switch out my Swampert though, because her Ludicolo is very threatening and it can KO my Swampert with 1 Giga Drain. So I sent out my own, and with a couple of Giga Drain, I was able to knock out her Rain Setter, which was the Politoed. And as for Pelipper, I threw up a Hurricane on her Ludicolo and then U-turn out to Cloyster, and I shot the Ludicolo to death. And then she sent out Kingdra and Primal Kyogre at the same time. I know my Cloyster was slower here, so I had to throw up an Ice Shot to get some initial damage on the Kingdra. And with Water Sprout and Muddy Water, she was able to knock out my Focus Sash Cloyster. Ludicolo was still there though. I later went out to Swampert to Earthquake, damaged both 3 Pokemons on the field. All 3, not both 3. And almost managed to took both Kingdra and Kyogre down. But then the Kingdra survived and actually gonna kill my Ludicolo here with a Dragon Pulse. And she sent out Dracovish, which obliterated my Mega Swampert with Fisher's Rend. So it had to be like Choice Scarf, and I didn't train any EV, so I'm actually slower. No, that wasn't too bad. I went to Keldeo and Gyarados next with Intimidate, and that was pretty clutch. And I got a burn from Scott as well on the Mega Swampert. So she's gonna focus on Fisher's Rending my Gyarados, but with Intimidate and the help of Citrus Berry, basically we won this battle by clicking Sacred Sword on Keldeo, because the Swampert is burned, so it's not hard to figure out. So Lorelei was out of commission. She healed me, and we moved on to the next member, which is Bruno. So he led off with Infernape. Thankfully, it was not a double battle again. I U-turn out into Mega Swampert, and I think I'm just gonna Liquidation here to knock the Infernape down. I think that's Stealth Rock Lead, something I play competitive, so I know what it is. So he went into Onyx. So I Earthquake for a little bit damage as he used a Clanger Soul. And then I had to sack something here, and Pogo was my choice to his Como, because it's now +2 in attack thanks to Throw Spray. I then revenge kill it with Ice Shot from Cloyster. Now, he went into Zacian next. Oh god, this mon's scary. And I go Gyarados to lower its attack, and also he went for close combat, funnily enough. It's so strange. And then Play Rough to knock me out. I then went into Mega Swampert. Now I can knock him out with an Earthquake thanks to close combat dropping the defense. The rain is gone though, but he went Bisharp for some reason, so 1 Earthquake took him down as well. Next up was Urshifu. So I just need to set up the rain again with Pelipper.
and Ash, he knocked me down with 2 Wicked Blow, and then I went into Keldeo, which has Secret Sword, and I'm not sure why it should Lucario, but I suppose at this point of the game he's just lost anyway. One close combat wasn't enough to knock out my Keldeo, and just with 2 Secret Sword, I won Bruno. So next up was Agatha. Good old Agatha. She led up with a Gengar, so I just need to set up the rain first and went into Gyarados. Not sure why they all taunted the Pelipper for some reason. Now, she used Dark Pulse on the Gyarados, and I just thought, wow, that was weird. I thought they had real set, but turned out to be a Zoroark. It's not a Gengar, man. So yeah, that was pretty surprising. She then sent out Marshadow to knock out my Gyarados with Shadow Sneak. I sent out Ludicolo after to get some more damage on the Marshadow. But what a jam. It actually lived on 1 health after taking a Shadow Spectral Thief. I'm sorry. So that was pretty sick. Of course, Aegislash was able to revenge kill after, but Aegislash was actually a blessing for me this time. I'm just gonna go into my Keldeo with this specific set: Calm Mind, Substitute, Secret Sword, and Scald. To set up a few Calm Mind and just use Substitute on his King Shield, because it turned out to be like this lady tend to use King Shield in the turn that she thinks I'm gonna attack, right? On the turn she was a sword, not a shield. So yeah, eventually Shadow Ball wasn't enough to like break my substitute. So I'm just gonna Calm Mind 6 times and yeah, just knock out the Aegislash with a Scald. Next up was Mimikyu, who we also knocked out with 2 Scald this time because I could tank a Shadow Sneak easily. Next up was Poltergeist, also went down to a Scald. I mean, at this point we have 6 Calm Minds on our side. There's no way we could lose this, right? Mega Gengar also went down. Agatha was pretty easy with Keldeo. Then eventually we ran into Lance, who actually caused some real problems to me. Here's the thing. He had many Pokemon that were dragons, and 2 of them, 2 or 3, I can't remember, actually weak to ice. So my option could be going back and teach my Swampert Ice Punch. That way I can actually win this pretty comfortably. And another option would be, of course, EV train my Pokemons, because I realized even under the rain with Swift Swimmed, my Ludicolo and Swampert sometimes were just still slower than their Pokemons, because they didn't have any speed IVs, right? And Lance can also change his lead Pokemon based on yours, so there's no way you could like outlead him and just reset and stop, you know. He had a pattern somehow. So I'm gonna try to beat him without having to go back, because I don't want to fight those members again. So yeah, so we're just gonna try it right here after losing maybe 5 times or something. Finally we was able to beat him. So we start off with Pelipper. He started off with Aerodactyl. I switched straight into Swampert on his Stealth Rock. I'm just gonna start up Stealth Rock myself as well, as he taunted. We're gonna Power Punch next, and next is also Power Punch with Liquidation and +1 attack in the rain. We was able to knock out Dragonite as he got some free damage with extreme speed. He sent out Dracovish later, who got destroyed by a +1 Earthquake, which I'm glad he did. Then here comes the Salamence. Ice Punch would be nice here,
but I had to go into Gyarados to lower its attack as it used double edge, which didn't kill, so I'm really grateful for that, because he would have to take more chip damage, right? Then we go into Cloyster to revenge kill with Ice Shard. Then Lance sent out a Melmetal, which who went for double Iron Bash and failed to KO my Pelipper. So I set up the rain successfully there. I'm just gonna sack my Cloyster to get a free Swampert in, and at that position, we just gonna weaken him with an Earthquake. I think 2 Earthquake was able to knock him out, so I go for it. Yeah, and it did. We knocked out the Melmetal, and the last Pokemon I believe was Dialga, Primal Dialga. I didn't know what that is, to be honest, so I just an Earthquake as he kept clicking Roar for some reason. I mean, with this many Pokemons on my side right now, I think I'm just gonna win with like pretty much any attack, right? Because he had to deal with Pokemon at once, so I just after he roared at me a couple of times, just went Keldeo Secret Sword, 1 Earthquake, and took his sword worth enough to knock the Primal Dialga down. So our last battle was against the rival. He became the champion somehow. What a weird world we lived in. So I let off with Pelipper. You turned out into Swampert to set up Stealth Rock as he taunted twice in a row for some reason. Then my Swampert was able to pick up 2 Power Punch and followed by a strong Liquidation to destroy the Togekiss. Then he sent out Mega Blastoise, who also went down to a Earthquake because I had +2 in attack now. Next up was Crowdite, who I also Power Punch again to get back my attack from Intimidate. And finally he sent out the Groudon, Primal Groudon. So it's not raining anymore, so I had to click Earthquake here. I'm slower, but I can tank 1 Earthquake. He then, after losing Groudon, he sent out Darkrai, which I sacked the Pelipper for. This dark hole effect looks really cool. So my Swampert can outspeed Darkrai now in the rain and use Liquidation to knock him out. Then lastly was the Ditto, Choice Scarf Ditto, knocked me out with Liquidation, but I have Ludicolo, who can revenge kill with Giga Drain. So we beat Pokemon Radical Red by using Mono Water type. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. It was my first time doing this, so it got a little bit sloppy in narrating and stuff. But I'm quite glad that I could win this with Water type. So yeah, so just want to say that if you really enjoy this game, you should try it out. It was not even close to being the hardest ROM hack, but it was actually a really good ROM hack with challenging opponents. So you don't even need to EV trains. Of course, EV train is still good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.